The colony ship had landed on 442B exactly 3 years ago. The humans called their new home New after the old city on Earth. It was a green world with blue oceans and air that smelled like rain. For the first time in history, humanity lived on two worlds. Captain Park stood on the bridge of the UENS and watched the planet turn slowly below. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had served in the Earth Navy for 25 years. He had seen many things, but he had never seen anything like what his sensors were showing him now. "Sir," said Lieutenant from her station. She was young, maybe 30, with sharp eyes and quick hands. "I count 200 ships. They just appeared from nowhere." Park said nothing. He stared at the screen. The ships were huge. Each one was bigger than anything humans had ever built. They hung in space like a wall of metal and light. "They are scanning us," said. Her voice was calm, but her hands were shaking slightly. "Let them look," Park said. "We have nothing to hide." The communication screen flickered. A face appeared. It was not human. The creature had a long head like an insect. Its eyes were black and many. Its mouth moved in strange ways when it spoke. The translator took a moment to work. "I am of the Dominion," the creature said. "We have watched your kind for some time. You have grown fast, too fast. This concerns us." Park stepped forward. "I am Captain Park of the United Earth Navy. We come in peace. We wish only to live on this world and explore the stars." Made a sound that might have been laughter. "Peace. Yes, all young species speak of peace. They speak of peace until they are strong enough to make war. We have seen this many times." "We are not like that," Park said. "You are exactly like that," replied. "We have studied your history, your wars, your weapons, your nature. You are dangerous. The Dominion has ruled this part of the galaxy for 40,000 years. We did not survive by letting dangerous species grow." Park felt cold. "What do you want?" Leaned closer to the screen. "You have two choices. The first choice is surrender. You will give up all your ships. You will give up all your weapons. You will accept protected status under the Dominion. Your people will serve us. In return, we will let you live. And the second choice. We destroy you. Every ship, every colony, every human. We burn your earth and salt your ground so nothing grows there again. We have done this before. We will do it again." The bridge was silent. Park could hear his own heart beating. Behind him, his crew watched with wide eyes. "How long do we have to decide?" Park asked. 72 hours, not one moment more." His black eyes seemed to shine. "Use this time well, human. Say goodbye to your loved ones. Make peace with whatever gods you believe in. When the time ends, we will have our answer." The screen went dark. Park stood still for a long moment. Then he turned to his crew. Their faces were pale. Some of them were crying silently. They all knew what this meant. One ship against 200. It was not a battle. It was an execution. "Send a message to Earth," Park said. His voice was steady. "Tell them everything. Ask for orders." "Sir," said a young officer named, "even at fastest speed, a message will take 12 hours to reach Earth, and 12 hours for a reply. That leaves us only 48 hours. "I know," Park said. "Send it anyway." The hours passed slowly. The crew worked in silence. They checked their weapons. They ran simulations. Every simulation ended the same way. The destroyed in less than 3 minutes. Lieutenant found Park in his ready room. He was looking at a photograph of his family, a wife, 2 daughters. They were back on Earth, safe for now. "Captain said, may I speak freely?" "Always." She sat down across from him. "The crew is scared. They think we are going to die. They think there is no hope." "What do you think?" Park asked. Was quiet for a moment. "I think we are probably going to die, but I also think dying is not the worst thing. The worst thing is dying for nothing. The worst thing is giving up without a fight." Park smiled slightly. It was the first time he had smiled in hours. "You remind me of my younger self. I was angry like you, ready to fight the whole universe. And now I am tired, but not too tired to fight. He put the photograph away. We will find a way, we always do. The reply from Earth came 26 hours later. Admiral appeared on the screen. She was an older woman with white hair and eyes like steel. She had led the Navy through 3 wars. She did not look afraid. "Captain Park," she said, "I have read your report. The situation is as bad as it seems. We cannot send reinforcements. Our nearest fleet is 6 months away. You are alone." "I understand," Park said. "But you are not without options." Admiral leaned forward. "I am authorizing you to use any means necessary to defend the colony. Any means. Do you understand what I am saying?" Park's eyes widened slightly. "The research station, project." "Yes, Doctor will brief you. It was never meant for combat, but these are not normal times." The Admiral paused. "Hold the line, Captain. Show them what humans are made of. Whatever happens, know that Earth is proud of you." "Thank you, Admiral." "One more thing." Her voice softened just a little. "Come home, Park. That is an order." The screen went dark. Park stood up. His tiredness was gone. In its place was something else, something hard and cold and determined. He said, "Get me Doctor on the line and gather the senior officers. We have work to do." Outside, the fleet waited like a circle of wolves around a wounded deer. They were patient. They had done this many times before. Young species always surrendered in the end. It was simply a matter of waiting. But this time would be different. This time the deer had teeth, and the wolves had no idea what was coming. The research station sat on the dark side of Nu's largest moon. It was a small building made of gray metal. From the outside, it looked like nothing special. Just another mining facility in a system full of mining facilities. That was the point. Nobody was supposed to know what happened inside. Doctor met Captain Park at the airlock. She was a small woman with messy hair and eyes that never seemed to rest. She wore a lab coat covered in coffee stains and burn marks. She looked like she had not slept in days. "Captain Park," she said, I assume you are here about the hammer." "The Admiral said you could help us." Laughed. It was not a happy sound. "Help you? Captain, I can give you a weapon that might kill everyone in this system. Is that the kind of help you want?" They walked through the station. Sergeant O and his Marines followed behind them. Was a big man with scars on his face and hands. He had been a soldier for 20 years. He said nothing, but his eyes watched everything. The main lab was filled with machines and screens and things Park did not understand. In the center of the room stood a device about the size of a small car. It was covered in wires and metal plates. It hummed quietly, like a sleeping animal. "This is the hammer," Of said. "We built it to crack asteroids for mining. The idea is simple. You create a very small point of collapsed space-time. When it expands, it releases energy. A lot of energy." "How much energy?" Park asked. Walked to a screen and pulled up some numbers. "At full power, enough to destroy everything in a 10,000-kilometer radius, maybe more. We have never tested it at full power." "Why not?" "Because we were afraid of what might happen." Looked at the device. "Captain, this thing does not explode like a bomb. It erases. Matter, energy, space itself. Everything in the blast zone simply stops existing. We do not even know if there would be radiation or debris. There might be nothing left at all." Lieutenant had been studying the device. Now she spoke up. "Can we put it on the—" "It would fit in the forward weapons bay," said. "But there are problems, big problems." "Tell me," Park said. Held up one finger. "First, the power requirement. Firing this thing will drain every battery and capacitor on your ship. After one shot, you will have no weapons, no shields, and barely enough power to keep the lights on." She held up a second finger. "Second, the range. The device needs to be close to its target, very close. Less than 50 kilometers. At that range, you will be inside the blast zone. Your ship might survive, or it might not. A third finger. Third, we have no idea if it will actually work. The math says yes. The simulations say yes, but we have never fired it at a real target. It could work perfectly. It could do nothing at all. It could tear a hole in space and destroy the entire system. The room was quiet. Park looked at his officers. Their faces were grim but determined. "What are our chances?" he asked. Shrugged. "Maybe 50% chance it works as planned. Maybe 30% chance it does nothing. Maybe 20% chance it kills us all." "I have heard worse odds," Park said. "Can you install it in 12 hours?" Stared at him. 12 hours. "Captain, that is insane. The calibrations alone take. We have 46 hours until the deadline. I need 12 hours to plan the attack and brief the crew. That leaves you 34 hours. Can you do it?" Opened her mouth to argue. Then she closed it. She looked at the device, then at Park, then at the device again. "I will need every engineer you have," she said finally, "and a lot of coffee." "You will have both." The next 30 hours were chaos. Engineers worked without sleep. Sparks flew as metal was cut and welded. Doctors shouted orders and drank coffee by the liter. Slowly, the hammer of was taken apart, moved to the and put back together in the forward weapons bay. While the engineers worked, Captain Park planned. "The fleet is arranged in a standard formation," he told his officers. "Their command ships are in the center, protected by rings of smaller vessels. If we can destroy the command ships, the rest will be confused, maybe confused enough to retreat." "How do we get close enough to fire?" asked. "They will see us coming." "That is the problem." Park pointed at the tactical display. "Their outer ring is 30 ships. Their second ring is 50 ships. Their third ring is 70 ships. The command group is 50 ships, including flagship. To reach the command group, we have to pass through 150 ships." "We will be dead before we get halfway," said. "Not if they let us through." Everyone looked at Park. "They are arrogant," Park said. "They think we are weak. They think we are going to surrender or make a stupid suicide charge, so that is what we will give them." He pulled up a new display. "When the deadline comes, we will fly straight at their fleet, slowly. We will broadcast a message of surrender. We will ask to speak with directly. We will beg for mercy." "They will not believe us," said. "They will believe us because they want to believe us. They have done this 100 times. Young species always surrender. It is what they expect." Park's eyes were cold. "They will let us through the outer rings. They will let us approach the command group, and when we are close enough, we fire." Finished. "We fire everything we have. One shot, one chance. Either we destroy their command structure and scatter their fleet, or we die trying." The room was silent. Everyone understood what Park was not saying. Even if the plan worked, they would be crippled. They would be trapped in a system full of angry enemy ships with no power and no weapons. Sergeant spoke for the first time. "And after we fire, what then?" Park looked at him. "Then we pray, or we fight with our hands, or we die with honor, but we do not surrender, not now, not ever." One by one, the officers nodded. "Good," Park said. "Get some sleep. Tomorrow we make history." Nobody slept much that night. They wrote letters to their families. They looked at photographs. They thought about home. Some of them cried, some of them prayed, all of them were afraid. But none of them ran. When the sun rose over New, the UENS powered up its engines and turned toward the enemy fleet. The countdown had begun. The 72 hours ended at exactly 600 Galactic Standard Time. Captain Park stood on the bridge of the and watched the enemy fleet on his screen. 200 ships arranged in perfect formation. They looked like a half-moon made of metal and death. "They are broadcasting," Lieutenant said. "All frequencies. They want the whole galaxy to watch." "Let them watch," Park said quietly. "Let everyone watch." His face appeared on the main screen. The creature looked pleased with itself. Its black eyes shone with something that might have been joy. Your time has ended, human said. Have you made your choice? Will you surrender and live as servants, or will you die as fools? Park took a deep breath. This was the most important performance of his life. He had to be perfect. He said, his voice was weak, afraid, broken. We have discussed your offer, we have argued and debated. In the end, we know the truth. We cannot win this fight. Made that laughing sound again. At last, wisdom. But we have a request. Park let his voice shake. Before we surrender, we wish to speak with you directly, face to face, ship to ship. We wish to negotiate the terms of our surrender. We wish to protect our people as much as possible. You wish to beg, said. Yes, Park lowered his head. We wish to beg. There was a long pause. Park could almost feel the creature thinking. This was the moment. If said no, the plan was finished. They would have to charge the fleet and die in seconds. Very well, said at last. You may approach. One ship, slowly. Any aggressive action and we will destroy you instantly. Thank you, we are coming. The screen went dark. Park straightened his back. The fear and weakness disappeared from his face. In their place was something hard and cold. You heard him, Park said. Take us in, nice and slow. The moved forward. Its engines burned at minimum power. It looked like a wounded animal limping toward its master. The outer ring of the fleet opened. 30 ships moved aside to let the human vessel pass. Their weapons tracked but did not fire. Why would they? This was a surrender, a ceremony, entertainment for the galaxy. Park watched the distance counter on his screen. 100 kilometers to the command group. 90, 80. Forward batteries are ready, said quietly. Her hands rested on the firing controls. She was calm, too calm, like the surface of a frozen lake. Not yet, Park said. Closer. The second ring opened. 50 ships parted like a curtain. The pass through. Some of the ships were so close that Park could see details on their hulls. Strange symbols. Alien art. The marks of a civilization that had ruled the stars for 40,000 years. 70 kilometers, 60. The command group is raising shields, reported. Standard formation. They are not expecting an attack. Good, Park said. Closer. 50 kilometers, 45. Appeared on the screen again. That is close enough, human. Stop your ship. Park did not answer. They kept moving. I said stop. His voice was sharp now, suspicious. 40 kilometers, 38. All ships raise weapons, commanded. Something is wrong, the human is. Now, Park said. Lieutenant pressed the firing control. For 1 second, the universe held its breath. The hammer of activated. Every light on the flickered. Every system screamed in protest. The ship shuddered like a living thing in pain. And then the front of the ship seemed to open, and something came out. It was not light, it was not fire, it was not anything that had a name. It was a point of absolute darkness that expanded faster than thought. Where it touched matter, matter stopped being matter. Where it touched energy, energy stopped being energy. Where it touched space, space simply ended. The command ships had no time to react. 47 capital vessels, each one carrying 10,000 crew members, ceased to exist in less than a second. They did not explode. They did not burn. They were simply erased, like words wiped from a page. The shockwave followed, not a wave of force but a wave of broken reality. It rippled outward through the fleet. Ships that were not destroyed were twisted. Their hulls bent like soft metal. Their systems failed. Their crews died from forces that should not exist. When it was over, 127 ships were gone, gone completely. Not even debris remained. The rest of the fleet drifted in chaos, their formations broken, their communications jammed, their commanders dead. They tumbled through space. Every screen was dark, every alarm was screaming. Half the crew was unconscious, the other half wished they were. Captain Park pulled himself up from the floor. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. His ears were ringing. His vision was blurry, but he was alive. He said, "Report." No answer. He crawled to her station. She was slumped over her console. For a terrible moment, he thought she was dead. Then she groaned and opened her eyes. "Did it work?" she asked. Park looked at the screen. It was cracked and flickering, but he could still see enough. The fleet was in ruins. More than half their ships were gone. The rest were scattered and confused. "It worked," he said. He pulled himself to the communication console. His fingers were shaking. His whole body was shaking. But he managed to open a channel. All frequencies. Let the whole galaxy hear. "This is Captain Park of the United Earth Navy," he said. His voice was rough but strong. "To the Dominion, to everyone watching, you came here to destroy us. You came here to make us slaves. You thought we were weak. You thought we were young. You thought we would kneel." He paused to wipe blood from his eyes. "You were wrong. Humanity does not kneel. And we have more weapons like this one, many more. If you attack us again, we will use them. If you threaten our people, we will use them. If you think this was our only trick, you are welcome to test that theory." He looked at the broken fleet on his screen. "Go home. Tell your masters what happened here. Tell them that humanity is not a species to be conquered. We are a species to be feared." He cut the transmission. The bridge was silent except for the sound of alarms and groaning metal. Park looked at his crew. They were injured. They were exhausted. Their ship was crippled. But they were alive. And they had won. For now. The footage spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Every species with access to the galactic network saw it. A single human ship, 200 warships, and then light, and then nothing. On 100 worlds, slaves watched in secret. They hid in corners and basements and whispered the same word to each other. Human. The creatures who had done the impossible. The creatures who had broken the... On the High Arbiter sat in his ancient throne and watched the footage again and again. He was old. Very old. His body was withered and gray. His eyes had seen empires rise and fall. He had not known fear in 12,000 years. He knew it now. "How is this possible?" he asked. His voice was like dry leaves scraping stone. "We have ruled this arm of the galaxy since before these creatures crawled out of their oceans. How can they have such weapons?" His advisors had no answers. They only had fear. "We must destroy them," said War Minister. "Send every ship we have. Burn their worlds. Kill them all before they grow stronger." "And if they have more weapons?" asked. "They said they have more. What if they are telling the truth?" "They are bluffing," insisted. "They must be. One ship cannot destroy a fleet. It is impossible. They used some trick, some device. They cannot have many of them." "Thought they would surrender," said quietly. He was wrong. "Are you willing to bet our entire civilization on another guess?" Had no answer. "Send scouts," ordered. "Find out how many ships they have. Find out what other weapons they carry. We do not move until we know the truth." Far away, on the crippled, Captain Park was facing a different problem. "We have power for maybe 2 days," Lieutenant reported. "Life support is working. Engines are dead. Weapons are dead. We are a sitting target." "What about the colony?" Park asked. "New is fine. The Never got close enough to attack. Doctor is already working on sending us a rescue shuttle." Park nodded. That was good news at least. "And the fleet?" "The survivors are regrouping about 10,000 kilometers out. 73 ships. They have not moved in hours. They seem to be waiting for something." "Orders from home, probably." Park rubbed his tired eyes. "They do not know what to do. Their commanders are dead. Their formation is broken. They are scared." "They should be scared," said. There was something fierce in her voice. "We killed half their fleet with one shot, if we had another shot." "We do not," Park said. "The hammer is burned out. Doctor said it might take weeks to rebuild. We have nothing." "They do not know that." Park looked at her. "What are you thinking?" Walk to the tactical display. We have power for 2 days. We have communications. We have maneuvering thrusters. She started typing. We also have 17 mining drones in the cargo bay. Each drone has its own heat signature and power source. Go on. What if we deploy the drones in a spread pattern? What if we give each drone a different transponder code? What if we fill the radio frequencies with fake communications, fake ship names, fake orders, fake chatter? Park understood. We make them think we have reinforcements. We make them think we have a fleet. Eyes were bright. They just watched us destroy half their ships with one weapon. They do not know how many weapons we have. They do not know how many ships we have. All they know is that attacking us is very, very dangerous. It is a bluff, Park said, a massive bluff. Do you have a better idea? Park thought about it. They were crippled. They were alone. Help was months away. The only thing they had was fear, the fear that they had put into the fear that might be the only thing keeping them alive. Do it, he said. Deploy the drones, start the false communications, make us look like an army. For the next 6 hours, the crew of the worked without rest. They deployed drones in careful patterns. They programmed transponders with fake names. They recorded fake communications and played them on loop. When they were finished, the sensors showed what looked like 50 human ships spread across the system, 50 ships waiting in ambush, 50 ships armed with weapons that could erase matter itself. None of it was real, but they did not know that. 3 days later, a scout ship entered the system. It moved carefully, staying far from the fake human fleet. It scanned everything. It recorded everything. Then it left. Park watched it go. They will report what they saw. The question is whether they believe it. The answer came 2 weeks later. The fleet began to move. Not toward New, not toward they moved away. Slowly at first, then faster. One by one, the surviving ships turned and headed for the edge of the system. They are retreating, said. She sounded like she did not believe her own words. They are actually retreating. Park said nothing. He watched the enemy ships disappear from his sensors. 73 warships, each one powerful enough to destroy the 100 times over, and they were running away. Not because the humans were stronger. Not because the humans had more ships. But because the humans had made them believe. Send a message to Earth, Park said finally. Tell them the system is secure. Tell them the enemy has withdrawn. Tell them. He paused, searching for the right words. Tell them humanity still stands. On the other side of the galaxy, High Arbiter received the scout's report. 50 human ships, possible weapons of mass destruction on each one. Unknown technology, unknown capabilities, high risk of catastrophic losses. For the first time in 40,000 years, a fleet had been ordered to retreat from a target system. Sat in his throne and stared at the report. His ancient hands trembled, not from age, from something else. The galaxy was changing, and the humans were just getting started. 6 months had passed since the Battle of New. That was what they called it now. The Battle of New, the day one ship stood against 201. The UENS entered the system on a bright morning. It was followed by 29 more ships, Earth's entire combat fleet. Commander Shin stood on her bridge and looked at the planet below, green and blue and full of life, the colony that had survived. There she is, said her navigator. Looked at the old ship. It was held together with emergency patches and desperate repairs. Parts of its hull were bent. Parts were missing entirely. It looked like it should have died months ago. But it was still there, still flying, still defiant. Open a channel, said. Captain Park appeared on the screen. He looked older than his photographs, tired, gray, but his eyes were bright. Commander Shin, he said, you are late. Laughed, traffic was terrible, you know how it is. I do, Park smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. Welcome to New, Commander. The system is secure. Apologies for the mess. The fleet landed, supplies were unloaded, engineers swarmed over like ants on a wounded animal. The crew finally got to rest. Some of them slept for days. Captain Park walked through the colony with Commander. The people of New came out to see them. They clapped, they cheered, some of them cried. "They think you are a hero," said. "I got lucky," Park replied. "We all got lucky." Luck does not destroy half an enemy fleet. Maybe not, but luck kept us alive long enough to try. They stopped at a small hill overlooking the main settlement. The sky was purple with sunset. In the distance, children played in a field. "What happens now?" Park asked. "Now we rebuild, we grow, we prepare." His voice was hard. "Doctor's weapon has been refined. Every ship in the fleet carries one now. The hammer of is no longer a mining tool. It is humanity's fist. And they are scared. Our intelligence says they are debating what to do. Some want war, some want peace. Some want to pretend we do not exist." Shook her head. "They will not ignore us for long. Sooner or later they will come back." "Let them come," Park said. "We will be ready." 2 weeks later, a ship arrived at New, not a warship, a diplomatic vessel. It carried a single passenger, an ambassador. Captain Park met the ambassador in the colony's main hall. The creature was smaller than had been, less arrogant, more careful. "I am ambassador," the creature said. "I bring a message from High Arbiter." "Speak," Park said. "The Dominion wishes to negotiate. We propose a treaty. The humans will be recognized as an independent species. Your territory will be respected. There will be no more talk of surrender or protected status." "In exchange for what?" "In exchange for peace. We do not want war with your kind. The cost would be too high for both of us." Park studied the ambassador. The creature was nervous. Its legs twitched. Its eyes moved constantly. 6 months ago, they had threatened to burn Earth and kill every human alive. Now they were asking for peace. "We will consider your offer," Park said. "But understand this. We do not trust you. You came to our system with warships. You gave us an ultimatum. You tried to make us slaves. We will never forget that." "We understand." "Good, then understand this as well." Park stepped closer to the ambassador. "If you ever threaten humanity again, we will not stop at destroying your fleet. We will find your colonies. We will burn everything you have ever built. We have the weapons. We have the will. Do not test us." The ambassador said nothing. It simply bowed and left. 1 week later, Earth's leaders voted to accept the treaty. Not because they trusted but because they needed time. Time to build more ships. Time to develop new weapons. Time to grow strong enough that no one would ever threaten them again. Captain Park was promoted to admiral. They gave him a new ship, a bigger ship. They asked him to lead a new fleet to explore unknown space. He refused. "I am tired," he said. "Let someone younger carry the flag." Lieutenant was promoted to captain. They gave her the UENS, a new warship with the latest weapons, including a hammer of. "You deserve this," Park told her. "You fired the shot that saved us all." "You gave the order," she replied. "You had the courage." "Courage is easy when you have no choice." Park looked out the window at the stars. "You will have choices, many choices. Some will be easy, some will be impossible. Remember what we fought for. Remember why we stood when everyone told us to kneel." "I will." Park nodded. "Then go, the galaxy is waiting." But the story did not end there. Across the stars, on worlds the humans had never heard of, something was stirring. Species that had been conquered by the species that had been slaves for thousands of years. They had seen the footage of New. They had seen one ship stand against an empire. Now they were asking questions. If the humans could fight back, why could they not do the same? Messages began to arrive at Earth. Secret messages, coded messages. They all said the same thing. "We saw what you did. We want to learn, we want to fight, we want to be free." A rebellion was beginning. and they wanted human help. Admiral presented the messages to the Earth Council. The debate lasted for days. Some said humanity should focus on its own defense. Others said they had a duty to help those who were suffering. In the end, they asked Admiral Park for his opinion. The old man stood before the council. He thought about everything that had happened. The ultimatum, the desperate gambit, the shot that changed everything, the fear in the ambassador's eyes. They thought we were weak because we were young, he said. They thought we would kneel because we were alone. But here is what they never understood about humanity. We do not build weapons to conquer. We build them to survive. And when survival is on the line, we do not miss. He paused and looked at each council member. There are billions of beings out there living under the boot of the Dominion. They saw us stand up. They saw us fight. Now they are asking for our help. If we turn away, we are no better than we would be saying that freedom is only for those strong enough to take it. He straightened his old shoulders. I say we help them. I say we show the galaxy what humanity stands for. Not conquest, not empire, but freedom for everyone. The council voted. The answer was yes. 6 months later, the first human advisors arrived on a distant world. They taught the rebels how to fight, how to build, how to hope. The Second Galactic War had begun. And this time, humanity would not fight alone.